Good morning, students. Welcome to the online class. Students, today we are continuing the chapter 1, that is Challenges of Nation Building from book 2. So this video will be the third part or part 3 of this chapter. Students, today in this chapter we are going to cover the following topics. The topics are here: integration of princely states, the problem behind the integration of princely states, what was the government approach towards these states, how the Nizam of Hyderabad and Manipur, these princely states, were incorporated to Indian Union. So these topics we are going to cover today, students. So very important from academic point of view as well as from general knowledge point of view. A student must know about this history. Actually we are studying political science, but this is political history. One should know that what was happened at the time of independence or soon after independence. So our topic is integration of princely states. Here integration means bringing different princely states or bringing different states together as a union, to form a union. Integration of princely states means what? Bringing different princely states together into our Indian Union. So how it was happened? What are the problems that come in front of this integration? What challenges we faced or our leaders faced at the time in integrating these princely states? So students, you know, British India, that means when our country India was under British control. So British India was actually divided into two parts. Though British rule was there over India, but the British India, which is governed by the Britishers, was divided into two parts. That is, one is British Indian provinces and second is princely states. British Indian provinces, one. Second is princely states. In British Indian provinces, the control was by the British government. In British Indian provinces, the control was fully by British government, whereas in the princely states, the control was by the rulers of the state. They were independent. The British Indian provinces were directly under the control of British government. On the other hand, several large and small states. Several large and small states were at the time ruled by princes. Several big and small states were there during British rule, and they were ruled by princes. They were not under control of British government. So those small and large states which were under control of the princes but not under the control of British government were called princely states. So in princely states, the control was by the princes, not by the British government. These princely states, they enjoyed independence. They're having their independent rule. Though they were adopted the supremacy or sovereignty or paramountcy, I can say. Though these princely state rulers, they adopted the supremacy, the paramountcy or the sovereignty of the British government. They adopted the sovereignty or paramountcy of British government, but still they are ruling independently. That means these princely states yearly they are giving some tribute. They are giving some money or gold towards British government, seeking that they will rule their states independently. So every year the princely states are giving yearly tribute to the British government in order to maintain their independence, to rule their states independently. The states cannot be ruled by British government. and British government accepted this one. So in this way, these princely states are ruling independently, and they are paying yearly tribute to the British government. Okay, princely states at that time were around 565 in number. There were 565 princely states were there in all in India at that time, and these states covered one third of the land area of the British Indian Empire. One third. Princely states covered one third of the land area of the British Indian Empire, and one out of four Indians, one out of four Indians were under the rule of princely states, or they were under what? Princely rule. I repeat once again, one third of the British Indian Empire was under the control of princely states, and four out of four members, four people, okay, one person was under princess rule or princely rule. Now, what was the problem that was arised in integration of this princely state? That is the question. Students, when India got independence on 14th and 15th August 1947, at that time the British government announced to all the princely states that from that day onwards their control over India will be ended. Similarly, their control over these princely states also will be ended. Now the British government asked these princely states whether they will continue their independence as usual, or whether they show their interest to join in Indian Union. So this was the announcement made by the British government. See, just before the independence, or I can say I am telling on 14th-15th August 1947, or just before independence, the British government announced that with the end of their rule over India, I mean they are going to give up their control over India, or they are going to give up their paramountcy over British Indian Empire and also over the princely states. Okay, and their control will be lapsed over the princely states. British control will be lapsed over the princely states. They announced it just before independence. This meant that all the states, which around 565 states, now would become legally independent. When the British control will not be there, naturally the princely states will be independent. So they are legally independent. Okay, the British government took the view that all the states were free to join either India or Pakistan. The British government announced that when they can join either Indian Union or they can join with Pakistan. So option was given to the princely state rulers that whichever side they want to go, they can go. But most of the princely states, they showed their interest towards what? Independent rule only. They don't want to give their independence. They don't want to give up the rights to they don't want to give the rights to the people. They want to control their states and their people. So what happened? This decision was left not to the people. I mean, the British government didn't ask the people of these princely states. They asked only to the rulers of these princely states. And the rulers, without taking the consent of the people, they gave the decision that they want to rule independently, because no king want to lose their control from on their kingdom or on their people. So they showed their interest to rule independently. Okay, this was a serious problem. So this became a serious problem and could threaten the very existence of United India. Now how? After independence, our Indian leaders, our nationalist leaders, they thought that they make India a united India. But when these princely states, when they want to be independent, they want their independent control over the people or the small and big states, then how the Indian leaders will form a strong united India? It is highly impossible. So this is the major problem in front of the Indian rulers, I mean Indian leaders. And the problem was started very soon. First of all, the ruler of Travancore, I mean South India, the ruler of Travancore, South India, nearly Kerala, Travancore, announced that the state had decided, I mean the Travancore princely state has decided on independence. I mean they want to rule independently without joining the Indian Union or nor Pakistan. Similarly, The very next day, the Nizam of Hyderabad, the Nizam of Hyderabad, the ruler of Hyderabad princely state, made a similar announcement that he also said that he is not willing to give up or not willing to give up his princely state, or nor he wants to join with Pakistan or India. Okay, rulers like Nawab of Bhopal, even the Nawab of Bhopal, rulers like the Nawab of Bhopal were averse to joining the Constituent Assembly. He also showed his unwillingness to join with the Constituent Assembly of India. This response of the rulers of the princely states meant that after independence, there was a very real possibility that India would get further divided into a number of small countries. The princely ruler thought even though we got independence, even though India got independence, very soon, sooner or later, India will be again divided into a number of small countries. They hoped like that. The prospects of democracy. Actually, our Indian leaders during the freedom movement itself, they decided that they will adopt a democratic form of government. So the prospects of democracy for the people in these states also looked very bleak. So Indian leaders thought that when these states are not showing their interest, how we can establish democracy in India, how all the people of India will get the benefits of democracy, how the people of princely states will get the benefits of democracy, that they thought. So they looked at that this establishing democracy in these princely states will become a bleak. This was a strange situation since the Indian independence was aimed at unity. Our Indian independence aimed at unity and self-determination as well as democracy. These three are our aims that we want to establish soon after independence. Okay, in most of these princely states, governments were run in a non-democratic manner. Naturally, king's rule will be is a non-democratic rule. So that is a big problem for our Indian leaders. How to bring these states under their control? How to promote democracy in these states also? How to make India a united country? So democratic manner. And the rulers were unwillingly to give democratic rights to their people. The rulers of these princely states, they are not willing to give up their, give up the democratic rights to their people. Okay, now, then it's a big challenge before Indian Constitutional Assembly or Indian government, interim government. Then what happened? The government adopted one approach, one method, one strategy. What was that? Let us see. That is government's approach. Okay, students, now. The interim government, the government which is formed without any proper elections or general elections, that's called interim government. Without election, the government was formed. And Pandit Nehru became the first Prime Minister of India. So the interim government took a firm stand against the possible division of India into small principalities of different sizes. I repeat, the interim government took a firm stance against the possibilities or against a possible division of India into small principalities of different sizes. The Muslim League, another party which was there at the time, the Muslim League opposed the Indian National Congress for this one. The Muslim League opposed this one and took the view that these states should be free to adopt any course they liked. The Muslim League said that let the choice should be given to the princely states, whatever they like, they will go with that one. We should not force them. So, Muslim League opposed Indian National Congress approach. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, students listen carefully. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was the first Deputy Prime Minister of India. He was the first Deputy Prime Minister of India, at the same time the Home Minister of Interim Government. Two positions simultaneously is holding at the time. He was the first Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister. Okay, during the crucial period. It was a crucial period. So he is holding the both portfolios in that crucial period immediately following the independence. He played an historical role in negotiating, bringing understanding among the people. He played a heroic role or important role in negotiating with the rulers of the princely states firmly, but also diplomatically. With this firmly, he behaved them with firmly and also diplomatically, and bringing most of them into the Indian Union. Very clever person. Diplomatically, firmly, he brought many princely states out of 565. Many states he brought under Indian Union, through persuasion. I mean making them understand the importance of joining in Indian Union. It may look very easy now, but it was very difficult task. But anyhow, our Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the Iron Man of India, he persuaded skillfully to all the princes and brought their states under Indian Union. For instance, there were 26 small states. There were 26 small states in today's Orissa. There were 26 small states in today's Orissa. Okay, Orissa. Saurashtra region where Gujarat. Saurashtra region of Gujarat had 14 big states. Similarly, 119 small states and numerous other different administrations. All these were brought skillfully through persuasion, diplomatically, firmly into our Indian Union, and for bringing this one, the heroic role, the historic role played by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. The government's approach was guided by three considerations. There were three considerations of government approach. Number one, firstly, the people of the most of the princess states clearly wanted to become a part of the Indian Union. I repeat, firstly, the people of most of the princely states clearly wanted to become a part of Indian Union. Secondly, the government was prepared to be flexible. The government was prepared to be flexible in giving autonomy to some regions. I mean, giving some independent power. Autonomy means what? Independent power to some of the princess states. Our Indian government agreed that they will give some autonomy power to these princess states. The idea was accommodate what? Plurality and adopt a flexible approach in dealing with the demands of the regions. Thirdly, in the backdrop of the partition, which brought into focus the contest over demarcation, of territory, the integration and the consolidation of the territorial boundaries of the nation had assumed supreme importance. Now, before 15th August 1947, peaceful negotiations had brought almost all states whose territories were continuous to the new boundaries of India into the Indian Union. The rulers of most of the states signed a document called the Instrument of Accession. The rulers of many states, they signed one document called the document of the Instrument of Accession, which meant that the state agreed to become a part of Indian Union. Accession of the princely states of Junagadh. Junagadh is a princely state in Gujarat, not Junagadh. Junagadh is in Orissa, whereas Junagadh is in Gujarat. So the accession of princely states of Junagadh, Hyderabad, our Nizam Hyderabad, Kashmir and Manipur proved more difficult than the rest. I mean, apart from these four, other princely states, they have showed their interest. They signed the Instrument of Accession with the Indian government and they joined. But these four states have not showed their willingness to join with the Indian Union. The issue of Junagadh, listen students, the issue of Junagadh was resolved after independence, or I can say, the issue of Junagadh was resolved after a plebiscite. You know, plebiscite means by taking the general will of the people, the general opinion of the people of a particular region for a common cause. Whenever a general will is taken by the people of a particular region for a common cause, their opinion, that is called plebiscite. So the issue of Junagadh was resolved after the plebiscite confirmed people's desire to join India. So plebiscite was conducted in Junagadh and all the people showed their interest to join with Indian Union. Hence Junagadh was merged with what? Indian Union. Junagadh merged with Indian Union. You will read about Kashmir in chapter 8, that how Kashmir was also brought under Indian Union. So in Kashmir one king was there, Raja Hari Singh. So this king also initially has not showed interest, but is getting some trouble with the Pakistan people who is entering into Kashmir and creating trouble. Then he showed his willingness to join with Indian Union. So later on, that Kashmir also was brought under Indian Union. I mean, Indian government went and helped the king, and the king showed the willingness by seeing the people opinion, and that Kashmir also brought under Indian Union. Here let us look at the cases of Hyderabad and Manipur. Now Hyderabad. Hyderabad, the largest of the princely states, was surrounded by the Indian territory. It is the largest princely state in India. Largest princely state, Hyderabad, surrounded entirely by Indian territory. Some parts of the old Hyderabad state was today in parts of Maharashtra. See, some parts of Nizam of Hyderabad, the parts of Prince State of Hyderabad, some parts are today found in where? Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. So parts of Nizam Hyderabad were found in present Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Its ruler carried the title Nizam. The ruler of Hyderabad's princely state is called Nizam. Nizam is the title. And he was one of the world's richest men. The Nizam was the world's richest man, one of the richest men. The Nizam wanted an independent state for Hyderabad. He wants an independent state for Hyderabad. He entered into with what was called the standstill agreement. He entered into an agreement of standstill agreement with India in November 1947 for a year while negotiations with the Indian government was going on. In the meantime, a movement of the people of Hyderabad, there was a movement started in Hyderabad by the people, okay, against the Nizam's rule. So people of Hyderabad, they revolted against the Nizam's rule because Nizam's rule is very, cruel. People are not happy, so they revolted against the Nizam's rule. And Nizam's rule gathered force. The peasantry, peasants in the Telangana region is particular about this revolt. Was the victim of Nizam's oppression. When the people revolted against the Nizam's rule, the Nizam also adopted the repressive methods on the peasants of the Telangana region. Women who had seen the worst of this oppression joined the movement in large numbers. Women also oppressed a lot and they also joined in this movement against the Nizam's rule. Hyderabad, the town, at the time Hyderabad, the town, was the nerve center of the movement. So Hyderabad town was the main center of this movement. The communists people, okay, CPI people, the communist people and the Hyderabad Congress were in the forefront of this movement. So women, peasants, okay, the communist people and the Hyderabad Congress party people, they were leading this movement. The Nizam responded by releasing a paramilitary force. So Nizam of Hyderabad, the Nizam ruler, he sent a paramilitary force to suppress the movement of these people, known as the Rajkars of the people. Rajkars, the private army of the Nizam of Hyderabad. The atrocities, the atrocities and communal nature of the Rajkars knew no bounds. They harassed, they oppressed the people who were participating in the revolt. They murdered, maimed, raped and looted, targeting particularly the non-Muslims. All non-Muslim people are done all these atrocities. The central government of India at that time had to order the army. The central government have seen that these atrocities are going on the people in the Nizam state. So the central government ordered the army to tackle the situation. Hence in September 1948, Indian army moved into control the Nizam's forces, that is Rajkars. After a few days of intermittent fighting, the Nizam finally surrendered. This led to the Hyderabad accession into Indian Union. So I can say the Nizam of Hyderabad or the Hyderabad Princely State was incorporated into our Indian Union through police action or through that military or army. Nizam surrendered and finally in 1940 it was acceded into our Indian Union. Now left Manipur. A few days before independence, listen students, very important. A few days before independence, the Maharaja of Manipur called Bodha Chandra Singh. Who is the Maharaja of Manipur? Bodha Chandra Singh signed an instrument of accession with the Indian government. He signed an agreement with the Indian government that he want to join on the assurance. Why you want to join? On the assurance that the internal autonomy of Manipur would be maintained. He signed an agreement with the Indian Union, but by taking the assurance with the Indian government that internal autonomy will be maintained by the ruler only. Okay. Under the pressure of public opinion, when this was signed by the Maharaja, then the people got angry. The people got angry. So under the pressure of public opinion, the Maharaja held elections in Manipur in June 1948. So listen students, the first state in India soon after independence, that's in 1948, elections were held in Manipur state. So it was Manipur state under the popular pressure of the people. The Maharaja Bodha Chandra, he conducted elections in Manipur. Okay. In June 1948, and the state became a constitutional monarchy. The state became a constitutional monarchy. So constitutional monarchy means what? I mean, both Indian constitution rule will be there, at the same time monarchy also will be there. I mean, one side democratic government, parliamentary form of government, on the other side king's rule. Both are ruling parallelly. That's called constitutional monarchy. For a long time it was there in Nepal also, up to 2000. Okay. So constitutional monarchy was started in Manipur. Thus Manipur was the first part of India. Manipur was the first part of India to hold an election based on universal adult franchise. So that state was India which held elections on the basis of universal adult franchise, Manipur, in 1948 June. In the legislative assembly of the Manipur, there were sharp differences. In the legislative assembly, I mean the state legislative assembly members, it was divided into two groups. There is a sharp differences over the question of merger of Manipur with India. Some of the legislative members, they want to merge with India. Some others are not showing interest. They want to be independent. While the state congress of Manipur, the state congress wanted the merger. The state congress of Manipur wanted to merge with the Indian Union. The other political parties were opposed to this. The government of India succeeded in pressurizing the Maharaja. The government of India succeeded in pressurizing the Maharaja of Manipur into signing a merger agreement. I mean, merger agreement is what? Ready to join with the Indian Union agreement in September 1949, without consulting the popular elected legislative assembly. I mean, the Indian government pressurized the Maharaja to sign a merger agreement without consulting the legislative assembly members, okay, of Manipur. This caused a lot of anger and resentment in Manipur. So it caused a lot of resentment. Who resented? That group of people who are not willing to join with the Indian Union. They resented with the king. The repercussions of which were still being left. Still the effects are there in Manipur. That's why Manipur is a very sensitive area. So students, this is the end of our today's topics. So we will come up with some other topics in the next video of the same chapter. Till then, take care. Thank you.